Good evening and welcome to the Bitter Knitters podcast. It's Monday, August 13th, 2018. My name is Jacqueline. Arthur's here.
Hey.
And Ryan's here.
Hi.
How's everybody doing? It's been a while.
Meh.
Meh. It's all exciting in Arthur's life.
Mm-hmm.
Nothing exciting.
Okay, so let's start with a couple of updates before we get into stories and stuff. Big news came out just this evening. Apparently I was napping and this happened. Ontario has announced what's going to happen on October 17th when pot is legalized here in Ontario and in Canada. We have a new government that just came in last month, and they pretty much said they didn't like the way that the previous government had set up what was going to happen. Mm-hmm. So now they're saying that on October 17th, you will not be able to walk into an outlet or a store and purchase it physically. You're going to have to order it online.
What?
I have been for months, so what changes?
Yeah, but you know what? The thing about that is not everybody has a credit card.
You don't use credit card. That's the paper trail.
Well, no, yes, you can use that. Okay, not everybody wants to do, I don't remember how you said you did it. You did a...
Email money transfer.
Money transfer.
Do a money transfer. Boom. You order it from one place, you pay another place, fucking drug dealing 101.
Well, the government is going to have to accept, debit, because so many people pay with debit.
Yeah.
And the other thing is, what's going to be the minimums? Because I know you were saying when you buy it, it's quite a bit.
From the one place that I get it from, I can get up to 80 grams sent to me at one time, which
that's
is
lot,
an insane
right?
amount of marijuana. That's trafficking. There's no personal use argument.
How do they send that to you? I mean, not to get
by the mail.
Yeah, they mail it to me. The government's my drug dealer. Yeah, they just put it in a baggie, and then they vacuum seal that baggie, and they vacuum seal another baggie.
Is this really from the government?
Well, no, but Canada Post delivers my drugs.
Yeah, Canada Post delivers it.
So the government's my drug dealer. Or my mule, I guess.
Yeah,
that is nuts. That's a lot. 80 grams?
Yeah, I can get up to 80 grams from the one site. There's a few others that I know of.
How much is when you say
Depends.
one of those round buds or nuggets or whatever, how much would that normally be?
Depends. I mean, their stuff ranges from $6 a gram to $18 to $20 a gram.
Okay.
I mean, it's the medicinal stuff, right? So you're getting quality.
Well, and I think they had a minimum. You couldn't order $12 worth of stuff. You had to order a certain amount, right?
No, I could order half a gram if I wanted to.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, no, it's great. In all honesty, I mean, I understand the stigma around fucking using the mail as your drug dealer, but I mean, it's been a really easy and pleasant fucking experience. It really has. And if this is any indication on how legalization is going to go, it's going to be a pretty smooth
really
fucking
think the
ride.
Government is going to be as good as this professional company?
Well, no, but as long as they just don't fuck with this stuff.
Yeah.
Right. As long as they let whatever's happening happen, just let these guys who have been operating, because I mean, again, this site's been going for about a year and a half now.
Yeah.
If they just let them continue to do their thing.
Well, that's still considered medical, so that's not going to be affected by. Is that medical or is that recreational? You have a card?
Oh, fuck no.
Oh, okay. Because now they're saying, though, that on April 1st, 2019, it will be open to privatization.
Mm-hmm.
So that, within 6 months, you're going to have possible stores and bars and
the dumb thing is, though, so you're rolling out legalization for medicinal users only. Guess what? It's already like that. What the fuck do you need to make it legal to do exactly what the fuck we're doing?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? This is why I've been so mad about this whole fucking process.
Yeah.
These people that, grew up in the reefer madness fucking era should have no fucking say in how this is rolled out.
Well, and here's the last thing that infuriates me with this news story is that the Ontario government is going to allow any communities to opt out. So that means that they'll essentially make themselves a dry city. You will not be able to buy it and consume it there.
For what reasons?
Because some people don't want it. They didn't give a reason. Do they just communities should be able to control it?
I don't mean what they said, but what is going to be the reasons behind people saying no? Our community says no.
John Tory said in a statement, I don't see it here in this article, but I saw it on the news, and he was basically saying he's quite willing to have legalized marijuana as long as it doesn't affect it's not by schools. It doesn't affect our the cost to the healthcare doesn't, get downloaded into Toronto's costs.
Mm-hmm.
And I can't remember. There's one other thing, but it was like something stupid that's not going to affect us. He's going to have it for sure.
I mean, little fucking, I guess, I don't even know how to say it, but it's just to allow communities to dictate why they're saying no, they don't want their communities. Let's say they do it over religious reasons. Then where do we draw the line to what else they're going to say? Well, we're not going to allow that in our community due to religious reasons.
Yeah.
Right. So I'm not too big on that.
I think any community that opts out doesn't get any of the money coming from the tax revenue. Like, if you opt out, why should you get, $5 billion or $5 million in tax money from the federal or provincial governments?
The same reason why the people that opted out of high school can get a welfare check, because we're not allowed to fucking discriminate. Like, we should, but we can't. Again, this whole fucking thing to me is stupid as fuck. I mean, it should just be legal. That's it. You know what I mean? Like, there should be no
across the board. It should have been federally. Freaking the guidelines should have been at one federal standard, like we talked about many times. Yeah. And just it's been a kind of a shit show, and it's still not even legalized yet.
That's what I was gonna say. Like, this is kind of really turning into a huge shit show. I don't understand how you switched from I'm able to go into a store, buy a couple of pounds. I mean, I'm exaggerating with a couple of pounds, but buy my personal use, and then now I have to do it online. Some people choose not to do things online because they feel like, my bank account. A
lot of people are paranoid about. Like, I work at and we have like a little card that you can get points with, right? You have to do it all online, and people are like, no way, the government's not tracking me through that. Like, that's for points for free groceries. They're definitely not going to let the government track their weed purchases.
No, definitely not. But I mean, again, I don't care if they're tracking me. They're probably tracking me now, and suck it.
They already do. Look what the thing came out today about how Google's tracking you through your phone and everything, even if you don't even have Google turned on. Yeah.
Well, I mean, we've known that we've been being monitored,
Yeah.
And know that this is going to ramp up.
Yeah.
Especially with some of the things that the Americans have been saying about what they're going to do to Canadians. Who, you know what I mean, who are in the marijuana industry. So I have a feeling there's going to be a lot of us that are going to be banned from the fucking U.S.
Turned away at the border very quickly.
Yeah, which should be fun.
I feel sorry for any of the Google people or anybody who has to monitor my boring life. Sorry. So let's get another update. We talked, I guess, was it just a couple months ago? It literally was just last month. It feels like so long ago. The Chase the Ace in Nova Scotia. The aunt and the nephew that won over $1 million on Chase the Ace. And so they've been to court today. They were at court. And the judge has reserved his decision until August 27th. This is basically the hearing to make sure that Reddick, that's the nephew, doesn't spend it. No, sorry, that's the aunt. McInnes is the nephew. Doesn't spend any of the money because she wants it all back, right? But I mean, I just can't see it because here's some of the things that were said. So she would send money to her family all around Nova Scotia and ask them to buy tickets. She said to him, and this is the instruction, this is according to McInnes' lawyer and text messages, instructed him to put his name on the ticket. She saw his name on the ticket, and she acknowledged the next day that he had a share. And the text said basically, I'm going to read the text. Basically, she said, I hope we win. We win, right? And then the next day when she said, call when you get off. Oh, my God, we got it, but we never discussed your share. What did you expect? So, I mean, and this kid, I'm not trying to say that this kid is more deserving for this, but this is a valedictorian at his high school. He works part-time at Tim Hortons, and he is going into his second year on a Bachelor of Science program at university on a full scholarship. So this isn't like a, kid who's running around doing crimes, That
shouldn't matter.
It doesn't matter. Right? I'm just saying, like, this isn't a lifelong scamming criminally kid. But I still think he's going to win.
Well, absolutely.
And he should.
I don't see any way in hell that this bitch is going to be fucking rewarded all the money. You know what I mean? There's a goddamn text trail of you fucking, no. This is what I hate about money. And this is one of the things I hate about, fucking coming from poor fucking family. It's like, this shit's fucking real. You know what I mean?
I don't think that they're that poor from the stuff I've been reading.
They're like, from Nova Scotia. They're not well off. Like,
well, she's a retired military maintenance technician.
Okay.
Right? She had at least, I don't think she's dirt poor.
Oh, I'm not saying like they're fucking dirt poor, like living off welfare and shit, but I'm telling you right now, you know, for someone to fucking try to fuck their family over $1 million, you know, you're not.
Well, and she seems like a serial lottery player. Like she plays all these crazy lotteries and stuff, and she plays all the lotteries. So, you know, that kind of speaks to someone's kind of addiction, right?
But I mean, again, hopefully everything's awarded to the nephew, and she gets fucked over.
Well, she's gonna have to pay a lot of money to lawyers if it drags out for too long.
That too, you know, and that's the funniest part to me with when people get this, you know, the dollar signs in their fucking eyes. How they're so willing to fucking just fuck the whole thing over, you know, just so they can win. But win what? I mean, now you're in the whole 20K, you know, like.
Yeah. Yeah, and then this will be our last kind of. Actually, I have one more catch-up story, too. We talked previously about the Saudi Arabian government and how they were allowing women to drive. Well, they didn't like that Canada questioned what they'd done with some women's rights activists in Saudi Arabia. They'd been arrested and nobody had heard from them. So we questioned, you know, when are you letting them go? What's happening? And they had a hissy fit. It's the only word for it. They expelled our ambassador and our diplomatic people that were there, and basically said, you have no business asking us about human rights.
This whole thing is a clusterfuck, all because of some asshole interpreted the fucking English tweet into Arabic wrong.
Yeah.
The part where our minister said that we implore you to release this person changed into Arabic as to we demand you. Okay, so they got mad. I get it. I'd be a little pissed off too. They fucking know that it was a grammatical error. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
The other day when they literally tried to fucking say that we have the worst fucking record for women's rights. Fuck you. Fuck you. I hope your whole desert fucking shithole like fucking collapses. I cannot wait to see the entire royal family.
I know this wasn't an official government, you know, group, but some Saudi Arabian youth group made a meme with a plane headed towards the CN Tower. Oh, we didn't mean it that way. Yes, you did.
That was supposed to signify us leaving your country. No, because the Saudis didn't fucking issue that in that day. You know what I mean? Yeah. Like this whole fucking thing is so funny to me, and I'm quite mad at our allies. I really am. The fact that not a single fucking one of our allies has stood up and been like, well, no, Canada's in the right.
There was a story came out today. The EU has kind of finally stepped forward and wants to know what's going on too. You know, finally, a week and a half later.
Like this is going to hurt us, and not in trade. Like I think we generate like $1.4 billion in trade a year with Saudi Arabia. That's nothing. Yeah. That's literally fucking nothing. Yeah. The thing that's hurting
they've already said they're not going to affect they want to sell us their oil still. So they're not going to do anything about that. They're going to still do it.
The thing that hurts us is our doctors.
Yeah.
Saudi Arabia was paying for 8,000 senior residences to be here in Canada, and now they're gone. Fucking gone. That's the law to doctors. That means that our Canadian-born fucking residences are going to be worked 26 hours a fucking shift. You know what I mean? Which is going to drive our healthcare down.
That's what I was. This was a growing problem in Canada for a while because a lot of the doctors in Canada were either fleeing to the United States to, you know, and make more money. Basically, really to kind of make more money because, well, you know, that's the one thing about universal healthcare that I guess
the government has a cap on how much doctors can make in Canada.
Exactly.
That's why.
It's not like over here you can make $5 million.
Exactly.
Patient. I mean, no, this whole thing is fucking stupid. It really is. And I'm just really upset over the fact that none of our fucking allies have stood up for us. None of them.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like not a single one. Like Bernie Sanders is the only American who has any kind of influence that I've heard say anything about how we need to be fucking supported.
Yeah.
But I mean, again, because of the Saudis pretty much single-handedly taking America's fucking economy out of the shitter in the 70s by fucking around with petrol the way they did and kind of forcing the world to pay for fucking petrol in American dollars, they're not going to fucking stand with us. They don't give a fuck about us.
Oh, they traded in their like, we all remember what happened on 9/11 and how the Saudis were all escorted privately out of the country.
Yeah. Well.
You know, because, what was it? 10 of 12 hijackers were Saudi origination.
Like, all I'm going to say is if you're going to sit there and you're going to question my fucking country and our fucking abuses to the natives, which I will fucking admit, we weren't the coolest to the fucking natives. But while you just beheaded and then crucified the corpse of an accused fucking gay man in Mecca, suck my fucking dick. Fuck all of you people. Like, literally, fuck every single one of you. I don't give a fuck about your country. I don't give a fuck about you joining the rest of us. Fuck you. I hope you all die.
We don't treat our natives good, but we essentially just ignore them. We're not dragging them into the street and fucking stoning them, chopping off their hands, cutting their heads off.
As I said when I posted that one article to my Facebook page, because I definitely remember when, we disappeared all them women's rights activists, right?
Yeah.
And just told the international community to shut the fuck up and let us do our thing.
Yeah, exactly.
I was pumped for them. I really was.
I was really hoping for them. Yeah, we talked about how hopeful we were.
You know what I mean? Like, cool, you guys want to join the rest of us. You understand that your oil money is going to run out real fucking soon, and you don't want your kids to be riding camels the way your great fucking grandparents did. But fuck you. Like, literally fuck every single one of you.
Yeah.
This is
the definition of 2 steps forward and 3 steps back.
Right? Like, I was on the Saudi Arabian Reddit, which is, just for them. And listening to fucking these apologists talk about, we're in the right. We're absolutely in the right. We have every right to culturally kill. It's our culture to murder gays. It's our culture to fucking, mutilate females' genitals. It's our fucking culture to beat the fucking wives of our friends if they step out of line. You have no right to question that. Are you fucking kidding me?
Yeah.
You want us to respect you. You want us to look at you in the same fucking light that we do every other developed Western nation. And you're going to pull this shit? Fuck you.
Well, and it's like Bill Maher says. He says he doesn't hate Muslims. He knows that there's wonderful people in the Muslim community, but he says, there is still a hardcore fanatical belief in a lot of Muslims, even in the quote, developed nations.
Yep.
Where, when 87% believe if you are a atheist, you should be killed.
Murdered.
And he always says you need progressive, forward-thinking Muslims, like, somebody like, what's his name, Zakaria? Somebody like that to come, constantly more people like that need to come forward and say we need to change the way our society thinks.
Okay, let me just kind of interject on that a little bit. That's not just with Muslims, though. I mean,
no, of course it's not just Muslims.
Yeah, I mean, I know we're sticking to that. I agree with Bill Maher's statement on that. But I do this is where I kind of sense why some Muslims may kind of take offense to why that can come off as something that's, oh, wow, like, why would you say that? Because, in a Catholic country like the Philippines, to look at somebody who's not even of a different religion, just a different denomination within the sect of Christianity, oh my God, they would rather you be dead.
Yeah.
Well,
that's the problem with any fanatical religion.
Fanatical thing, this whole belief system that we kind of tend to have with religion sometimes, where it's just do or die. I mean, let's be frank, it's do or die. You're either going to be a part of it or not.
You think of, like, say, the Amish. If they're fanatical, at least they just expel you. They don't chop your head off.
That's why any and all religions should not be fucking protected classes. Flat out.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I mean? I have no beef with someone's spirituality. None whatsoever. Pray and believe to whatever fucking sky wizard you want to. I don't fucking care. But when you honestly believe that there is some type of protected fucking shit where you get to be a fucking monster based on your God knows, so fuck you. Like, I'm sick of this shit. I am sick of this. I am sick of people like what's going on right now between us and Saudi Arabia, where you're going to take either the cultural or the religious fucking argument. You know what I mean? No, fuck you. You're trash people. You're trying to fucking do better, but you're really not. You're just trying to get the rest of us to accept the fact that you're fucking trash people. Gloss it over
so that you can build your, $20 billion city or whatever it is you want to build.
I understand they want to, model themselves after the UAE. Don't fucking blame them. I really don't, because again, oil's a finite fucking resource. It ain't gonna last forever. They're gonna be broke real fucking soon. Who the fuck is gonna want to go to Saudi Arabia? Do you know what I mean? Like, you know what I mean? Like, even Dubai. Like, Dubai.
I don't even want to go to UAE, but yeah.
Like, I'd love to go to Dubai. I really would, until I found they have anti-poverty laws and shit like that, and I'm just too poor to fucking be there. Yeah. But no, it's so fucking stupid. It's so stupid over them knowing that it was because the fucking tweet was misinterpreted. Because the guy that fucking interpreted it decided to put a different fucking spin on it. Not what we said, not what our fucking minister said, but, you know, no,
well,
fuck that shit.
Just one final thing, I'll say this. Saudi Arabia also canceled all flights to and from Canada. Yep. The last plane left today, and when they left, the pilot did say, "Thank you, Canada."
Oh.
That is intense. I mean, to take things on such a huge...
Yeah. But I mean, like, we question countries all the time. Like, that's the funniest thing. Like, that's what countries do. See, you know, some of the tweets that have gone out about Russia. Do you know what I mean? Like,
as a country... Go ahead, sorry.
I'm sorry, but the difference is this. Is if we question Saudi and they go, well, fuck, man, they're right, and they release this prisoner. Now their fucking citizens are going to start questioning everything else that this totalitarian fucking douchebag said. They don't want that. They can't fucking have that. They cannot have that. They need to have a stranglehold on every single person in that fucking country.
Even though they relaxed the laws on women's driving and some women's rights, they still have to arrest these women because you can't be protesting in the streets.
You can't. You know, it's the same thing that was going on in fucking Bangladesh, and that one really fucking worked me up. Like, that, I was really mad. But it's the same thing. These kids protested road conditions. Just road conditions. But if they force the Bangladeshi government to fucking fix the roads, and what next? They're going to want equal rights? They're going to want to not be fucking brutally murdered by fucking government-paid fucking students? No, we can't have that shit here, because then I lose my totalitarian fucking power over these people.
Isn't that what ultimately all of them are afraid of? There was this beautiful article that was written, oh my God, I'm talking maybe close to a decade now, when all of the, basically the dictators of the Middle East started to kind of go down, you know, God, please don't make me name all of them because I have forgotten their names. It's how forgettable they are. When that started to happen, they said that this will eventually bleed into the modern day governments in the rest in the United Arab Emirates, or the UAE, the Middle East, whatever you want to call it. It's going to start to bleed, and people are going to start to question, why am I forced to wear a hijab? Why am I forced to, you know, not eat bacon or whatever the case is? And I think it's going to go there. And as much as people don't want to wait, you know, maybe people just don't want to. But as much as people don't want to wait, it's going to happen whether they want it to or not.
Oh, absolutely. It's terrible that the fucking citizens have to pay. You know what I mean? Like, it's so heartbreaking to know that there's people out there being murdered for just asking questions, for just wanting safe roads, or fucking, you know what I mean? To not be forced under your bullshit religion after your bullshit religious garbs.
Well, just to give a little bit of, like, I guess, a dictator schooling on some people, the Philippines had martial law for 21 years. Wasn't it like 21 years or something like that with Marcos? And he did exactly that. He would murder you if you questioned him. This is why the Aquinos, however you feel about the Aquinos, this is why the Aquinos ran to the United States for quite some time and hid here in Massachusetts. But eventually, the Filipinos revolted. I mean, granted, the Filipinos' revolt was peaceful. The People's Powers movement, it was peaceful. However, that's not how it's going to go down in the Middle East.
No.
It'll be very, very different.
Oh, yeah. No, it can't be peaceful. It just can't. You know, I've had this theory for a long time. You know, it's a hard one to kind of validate. But I do truly feel like here in North America, maybe South America, but I guess not really. We're new countries. We don't have a history of just murder and war and fucking atrocity after atrocity after atrocity. Their whole culture and self-image, or their national self-images, is based off of this shit. That's all they know. You know what I mean? Like, so to silence dissenters with fucking violence and death is just the fucking norm. They don't give a shit about it.
Yeah, you know? It's been that way forever since they were,
it's
tribal,
never gonna fucking change.
Tribal leaders in the desert.
Hold on to that. You can't hold on to a dictatorship forever.
No.
It's physically impossible, I guess, in the 21st century. North Korea,
maybe not then, but another dictator will come along. That's what always happens in these countries, right?
But I mean, you can't hold on to that kind of power forever. The number of people who don't live the way that they live are far greater than the ones that do. And eventually, there's always groundwork that goes on that we have no idea about. Because as much as we read the news on that, there's things that go on within the country that we probably, don't get to hear because it's so edited out or they're being so quiet about it. I honestly think that's what's eventually going to happen in the next 50 years or so. All countries will change the way they govern. I think in the United States, it's going to start to happen very shortly.
Yeah. But like, in all honesty, so this Saudi Arabia thing, I've only seen it pop up on my news once. The Bangladeshi thing, I didn't see it pop up on my news.
I didn't see that. I only saw that on your wall. I never heard about the Bangladesh.
The only reason why I knew what was going on in Bangladesh is because there was guys there who were in the thick of the protest getting the shit stomped out of them. They're going to shut our internet off soon. Like, please get this out. Get it to your fucking news sources. Like, let them know, like, we're suffering right now. Like, the government is fucking murdering us over protesting potholes.
Yeah.
The fuck, man. Like, that worked me up. That one really worked me up. And the fact that, again, the international community just kind of turned a blind eye. Like, whatever. It's just how it is over there. It's just how it is. But as we stand here on our fucking soapboxes of fucking moral superiority, you know what I mean? Like, I hate us. Like, I'm just so mad. Like, and, I mean, I've expressed it before that I'm not one that really throws real human emotion into this kind of stuff. Because, again, like I just said, it's been happening. It's going to continue to happen. There's nothing I can really do about it. But that Bangladesh thing really fucking rubbed me the wrong way.
Yeah. But that's the compassion that we're missing now in the world.
Oh,
we used to care. We used to care about what happened in other countries because it affected us. Just to put into perspective what's been going on with this whole Syria thing and why we're getting refugees, right? And the way that we're reacting to the refugees, we've lost our compassion. Oh my God, they're going to take our jobs. They're going to put Sharia law into effect and all this stuff. And it's like, I don't quite think that's what's going to happen.
No.
But that's focus.
That's just people that are fucking scared, right? Like, we've said it. We've talked about it before about how people are fucking terrified of change. Good or bad, you know what I mean? Like, we're all fucking scared of change. So when people hear, especially in mass, that there's a whole bunch of other cultural different people coming to your country, they automatically go to the fucking worst, which again is all on them. The Sharia law thing though, like, to me, that one to me has always been one of my favorites to laugh at, because for one, it only affects you if you're a Muslim. You know what I mean? Like, if you don't believe in Islam.
Well, they think that they're suddenly going to force, like Betty Sue to suddenly take off her fucking short shorts and her halter top.
Right.
And put on a burqa.
That doesn't work. Now, I mean, I have encountered what was, they call them Sharia patrols while I was in London. And even before I went there, I heard about this. Like, that's bullshit. That does exist. Like, there are a group of dudes that do walk around and try to impose, their modest laws, I guess, on tourists or fucking just locals, what have you. But I mean, it's not like they're sitting there being like, oh, well, you're in a Muslim neighborhood, you better put on fucking whatever the hell.
Now we're cutting off your hands because you wore a mini skirt.
No, it wasn't like that. It's just, this is where they all live, and they would, if you weren't fucking publicly drunk.
But we also have people who knock on my front door and tell me, do you know that he's coming? This literally happened yesterday.
Exactly.
So different.
I'm not saying that they should be allowed to walk around and say, don't be publicly drunk in our community. But I mean, remember the Guardian Angels in the 70s in New York and Los Angeles?
Yes,
right?
Yes.
But that's kind of the point I'm trying to bring up, though, is like the double standard, how we turn a blind eye when it's, something that we understand from our own fucking culture, or just something that we've seen, you know what I mean? Where it's like, okay, well, whatever, it's just the Jehovah's. What the fuck's different than these assholes? They were just as fucking polite. Like they weren't fucking these monsters that people keep trying to paint them out as being.
They didn't come and physically attack people that were different.
No.
Well, because I think history has been, I think the Middle Eastern history of what we think of Iran and Iraq has been lost. We forget that this is not how Iran and Iraq was. No. Back in the 60s and the 70s, yes, they had emperors and stuff, and they had, like shahs, I don't know what the terms are. But they were never this strict. Women can walk around with no hijabs. Women could walk and go to the store and literally buy their stuff without having to take their youngest son or any man with them. Things changed drastically within the last 40-something years. But we forget that part of history because it is convenient to.
Yeah.
So you have to remember, the Muslims have been the West's, quote, enemy for thousands of years. Since, they went back and did their... oh God, what was it called?
The Crusades.
Crusades. That's the word I was trying to think of. The Crusades.
The first Crusade was justified. Like, if you know anything about history, it was justified. The second and third Crusades were pretty much just based off of racism. Like, flat out. You know what I mean? And like, if you do honestly go and you take an interest in it and you start reading up on it, the First Crusade was, as far as I'm concerned, justified. It was, that may be retaliatory, but it was for the fact that the Moors annexed a giant part of fucking Europe. No, fuck you. Like, we're not going to stand for that. You know, okay, I can respect that. The other two, though, they were fucking purely for fucking gold and to just assert dominance over people that they
try to convert them into Christians and kill the ones that didn't want to become Christians, right?
But I mean, again, it just pisses me off that some fucking backwoods ass country will fucking, you know what I mean? Like, try to talk shit about Canada. Like, we have our fucking problems. I'll never say that it's perfect here. Never will I say that. But I mean, I've never seen a public fucking beheading. We don't crucify fucking corpses. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
We don't fucking punish women for fucking talking out a line. Like, no, fuck you, fuck every single one of you. Like, except for the people that aren't nobility. You know what I mean? So your regular Saudi citizen, I feel, you know, my heart goes out to all of them because they can't get medical treatment. They can't leave the fucking country. They can't do shit. You know, if you're part of that nobility, though, that has the right to leave, like even these med students and shit, go fuck yourself.
Yeah, well, and I mean, let's assume most of these med students, I would imagine they're not females.
No, fuck no.
Because you're not allowed to leave the country without your daddy or your husband's or your nephew's permission. So, you know.
That's a big nope.
Yeah, so, I mean, no offense to these, I'm sure they were doing a great job and they were helping people while they're in Canada, but you're still helping to, you know, keep women in horrible conditions.
Well, even that.
When you become a consumer that is aware of what really goes on to the products that you buy, and I'm talking about this in a very broad sense, because medicine, well, I mean, it really is a consumer product if you think about it. You start to kind of realize what you're feeding into, right? Like, we're schooling them and we're helping them with this and blah, 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 blah. But where does that go back to? You know what I'm saying? Where does that initially really go back to? It goes back to them putting their money back in a country that is oppressing women and has been oppressing women for God knows how many years. That whole thing that was going on in Kuwait, you know, remember that makeup artist, the Kuwaiti makeup artist that was really got dropped by everybody under the sun for making the comments about overseas workers and that they should not have the right to have a day off. Yeah. That is what you're putting your money into.
She was angry about that.
Yeah, she was angry that she said
they were forced to give them one day off a month or something. Yeah,
we should hold their passports. That was what she said.
Yeah, that it's her right to hold their passport, because if not, they could just run around and do whatever they wanted.
But this is what I'm talking about. It's knowing what you're putting your money back into. If I was, no offense, and again, I'm not trying to create enemies here with the Middle East. You have more money than me.
Of course not.
But I would not want to school your prospective doctors, because I know where you're going to put that into. I know what's going to happen, that you may be forcing a woman to carry a pregnancy from rape. I don't want that on my conscience as a country. You know what I mean?
The fact that Canada, the US, the UK, France will put our moral fucking compass aside to take their fucking money to do exactly what Ryan was saying it's embarrassing as hell.
It is.
It's absolutely fucking embarrassing. You know, now I think I've made it quite clear that I'm very patriotic. I fucking love my country. Canada's number one. Fuck everybody else. But I am embarrassed at the fact that that we will turn a blind eye by these people coming here to learn fucking medicine to only treat the select fucking few, not the whole fucking population.
That's the problem, Arthur. And I like that you're talking about that, because people forget, and the reason why I even knew about that Kuwaiti story, most of the overseas workers in the Middle East, from restaurants, from construction, from nannies, are Filipinos. This is the dehumanization.
There's more Filipinos in the Middle East than there are in Canada and the US combined. I'm shocked by that. I didn't know that.
But that is the main issue that we're all talking about, is that we're allowing this, the consumerization of human lives, and then you turn a blind eye, because the Philippines is as much as an ally to the United States as I thought was the Middle East was. But apparently that's turned on a blind eye, because, that's okay, they'll handle that themselves. Why aren't you intervening on that? Because this was a country that was a Commonwealth from 1898 to 1942, if I'm not mistaken. But we're forgetting that aspect. You know what I mean? We're forgetting that aspect completely here because we don't give a flying fuck about it.
It's no different than what's going on in Bangladesh. You don't know why people don't care? Because we get our textiles from there. We can pay them 0.2 cents and then charge fucking a 5,000%, markup. So people here in the West, we're not giving a fuck because, if we would have to pay, good money for our fucking clothes. And after I found that out, because I honestly didn't know that to begin with, I have made a point to myself to literally only buy fucking Canadian. Like, none of my clothes will fucking be sourced out of this country.
Yeah.
I don't give a fuck if I have to wear fucking secondhand. I don't give a fuck about that shit. But no, I will not support a regime that fucking plucked the eyes of a 15-year-old boy because he didn't like the unsafe road conditions. I will not will I fucking ever in my life support that shit.
Good for you, Arthur.
And you know me, I'm not that guy. You know what I mean? Like,
no,
you're not. Certain you guys, I've made it.
You laughed at me about the straws and the water bottles.
Exactly, right? Like, I'm not that fucking person because I try to look at everything.
Tell me, fuck those whales and everything. Yeah,
fuck the whales. I try to look at the world through a realistic fucking view, and there's a lot of times where unfortunately we can't ignore countries with their bullshit atrocities. We still fucking need them. This to me is one where we don't, and I do believe that we should all make a more conscious effort to not funnel any fucking money towards a fucking country that murders children.
But this is the conversation I've been trying to have for years now with my families. It's like, you can't talk about big companies this goes deep. You can't talk about big companies getting tax cuts to create jobs here. There are no jobs being created here. They're all being created outside of the United States. We're talking about India and the Philippines being the #1 customer service outsourcing companies, or rather reps that we have. China, Bangladesh, what's the other country? Philippines, Vietnam, where it's slave labor that we're paying for to create the clothes that we're wearing. I'm guilty of that. I'm wearing something right now that's probably made in China. But the whole point of this is that we cannot give somebody an incentive to do this even more. They don't care. Do you really think, and no offense to Ivanka, that Ivanka Trump knew what was going on with the country she had her stuff being made in? No. But here she was trying to be the woman pioneering for other women. That's the thing that pissed me off about the whole thing. And that's why a lot of the times when people tell me, oh, you're just being an angry liberal person. No, I'm not. No. I'm telling you what the truth is. This is why I don't want us to constantly give out. Because if you're going to create jobs here, I want to see the results.
I love the fucking thought, though, that caring about people is all of a sudden like a liberal fucking ideal. You know what I mean? Like the fact that I won't support a fucking regime.
Have a party affiliation.
Right?
Caring about people is a human thing.
You know what I mean? Like, just because I will not support a regime that fucking murders its fucking people all of a sudden makes me a liberal.
Protesting,
But I mean, even especially if you're if you're a Christian, that's in the Bible. Right? You know what I mean? Like, that should be... It's just crazy.
I thought that's what we were fighting for in Afghanistan and Iraq.
Exactly.
It's why we tried to justify the wars that we had that cost hundreds of millions of dollars each.
Liberated them.
And millions of lives.
But where's the liberation that we've been talking about for years? Again, I'm not trying to be a conspiracy theorist here. I'm not trying to convince people that, oh my God, my ideas are the best and blah, 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 blah. There's flaws to it. But where is this that we're talking about? Because we have spent hundreds of millions of dollars trying to liberate yet the real enemies, Kuwait, the Middle East. We have yet to freaking go in there and say,
we won't even question them. Because when we question them, we are shaking in our boots, right?
Because then gas goes up $5 a gallon. That's why.
That's another thing that fucking irks me, that it's all over oil. Which, to me, like, again, as a Canadian sitting in the country with the 3rd largest oil reserves, I'm like, why? Why the fuck am I having to listen to some fucking cave-dwelling fuckstick who doesn't, you know what I mean, doesn't know shit from his fucking, like, all because of oil? I have oil. I fucking got tons of it here. Why the fuck do I need you? Why the fuck does your opinion matter? Oh, that's right, because our fucking closest allies, the ones that won't fucking stand up for us, tell us we have to. I know I spew a lot of kind of anti-American fucking sentiment, and I'm not anti-American, but like in this one, I'm very fucking upset at them, and I am upset at everybody from the fucking top down that you won't stand with us. Like, that's fucking bullshit. That is absolute bullshit. Because human rights is not a fucking Canada versus US thing. Human rights is a fucking human thing, and we should all give a fuck about that. All those assholes that showed up yesterday to protest fucking 30 people in fucking mega hats. Yeah, this is the fucking fight you guys should fucking care about.
My God, don't even get me started on that. I don't want to talk about that.
Me neither, but you know what I mean, though? Like, a shit ton of people showed up.
Happening. This is the truth. These are the things that we're not going to discuss. This morning, early in the morning at 7 o'clock, somebody in my house had turned on Fox News because that's what they watch. I won't mention that person's name or what their relation is to me. And that's what they were watching. They talked about everything else except that fucking wretched march by these white supremacist nationalists, whatever you want to call them, that happened yesterday. But nobody wanted to talk about that, but they wanted to talk about how Nancy Pelosi is the devil.
Yeah.
Are you serious?
I think a lot of
what's going on.
A lot of that, though, had to do with the fact that all the actual Nazis didn't talk, didn't show up. You know what I mean? The people that actually did show up, and as much as you can fucking say they are a hate group, and I'll agree because they showed up to march with fucking Nazis. You know what I mean? Like, there's no argument I think I can make that would paint them in any other light. But none of them showed up. No. After what happened last year in Charlottesville, I mean, these people aren't going to fucking show up again. They're just going to do this
something like that. They're just going to have their little, their little rallies in their tiny little communities with each other, and meet on the internet, and that's what they're going to do.
No, that whole thing was, to me, it was fucking hilarious, but whatever. But yeah, no, it irks me. It really does. It bothers me a lot that there was like 200,000 people showed up yesterday to protest a boogeyman that, in my opinion, doesn't really exist. But yet they're completely fucking ignoring, again, closest fucking ally. Yeah. You know, the country that has had your back in every single fucking bullshit conflict you have gotten yourself into. And you can't, like, you know what I mean? The regime can't even give us Canada's in the right. You know what I mean? Like, to me, that it hurts. It fucking hurts.
Well, because look at who's sitting down in the Oval Office. Let's be frank about that one.
That's exactly what it is. This asshole is not going to fucking stand for us.
You can't expect any kind of strength of character from somebody who has no character.
Well, and that's it, right? But it fucking bothers me. It truly does. It does. You know, I have friends who, luckily, all of them made it back, but who went to war. A war that fucking they started over bullshit, and they went and put their fucking lives on the line. Yeah. And you can't even they can't even just side with us. They can't even be like, well, yeah, Saudi Arabia, you're kind of shitty when it comes to fucking human rights. We're still going to buy your oil. We're still going to sell you weapons. Don't worry. Keep murdering fucking school children in Yemen. You know what I mean? We'll turn a blind eye to that like we constantly fucking do. But hey, you know, you guys are kind of trash bag human beings. Clean your fucking act up.
They killed the school children in Yemen, and last week the Americans killed the school children in Syria by accident. So, you know.
That's the consumerization power. That's what it is. If you're not aware, and if we tend to forget our histories, we turn a blind eye to everything, and we just allow it to occur constantly, and it affects all of us in some way. It does.
Well, and we have our own hate fostering here in Canada. Let's quickly talk about. We have a guy who tried to become the conservative leader of Canada, Maxime Bernier. He's still a member of Parliament, but luckily he's not the leader. Not that I like the other guy. But this guy tweeted out yesterday some kind of crazy shit. I guess maybe he should move down to America or something. Because he was posting the hypocrisy. Talking about diversity. And how diversity is going to destroy Canada because it's going to, this is the quote, it will divide us into little tribes and bring distrust, social conflict, and potential violence. And that he described it as a cultural balkanization. Remember the Balkans in Yugoslavia and how they had the Balkan War? What I think is hysterical about this is he's from the province that 100% has done tribalism and forced diversity on everybody. Right? He's from Quebec.
Yeah, well... The thing is, for one, I understand what it was he was trying to say. He just did not fucking say it correctly.
Yeah.
Essentially what Bernier was trying to get at was that if we allow people to not integrate into our societies and we allow them to segregate themselves off, then it's a fact. You know that these people won't integrate. They won't give a shit about the host country's values. You see it over and over and over again. Look at most Chinatowns.
Yeah.
Most Chinatowns, I mean, it's a little version of fucking where they came from, right? Like, they don't give a fuck about your culture. And here in Canada, that's not who we are. We are a mosaic of every single fucking person that's here. You know, it's just this guy, he said something that, I mean, let's face it, we're all taking as blatant racism, but it wasn't. He's just an idiot. Like, he's just stupid and can't fucking articulate.
The way he had to say it, because you're right. Like, when you look at countries like Norway or Britain, where they are kind of living in their own little segregated communities, France especially, right? It's not doing good, because you're right. They're not getting those values from the other societies.
There it is.
You know, so far in Canada, you've got little kind of communities that live close together, but so far that I know of, there's no full on, only Muslim territories.
No.
There's no little, Saudi Arabia. There's no little Afghanistan.
No, and I mean, sorry, but even with our older communities, Greek town, Polish town, shit like that, they've been here for fucking hundreds of years.
Yeah.
They've grown with Canada. They are a part of our cultural identity. You know, there are a few areas in Toronto, especially, where there have been long-standing Somalian communities that have been here hundreds of years. They are as part of Canada as Canada is a part of them. You know, but there is a thing when we do bring, any country brings in first-generation immigrants, if we don't accept them, and essentially it's a fucking story of Rudolph. If you don't let them play your fucking reindeer games, they turn into psychopaths. You know what I mean?
You're right. You're absolutely right. And it happens every time.
Yeah.
Right? It happens every time. Because you didn't want the boat people from Vietnam to come. You didn't want the Sikhs to come. You didn't want the Somalis and the Ethiopians in the 90s. You didn't want the gypsies, you know?
Well, can I tell a little story time on this? Because you guys are telling the story in Canada, but New York is kind of the biggest melting pot of this, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And I mean, when you talk about how there were ghettos, people forget that word ghettos. Ghettos are like groups of people who live that's all kind of from the same place or same culture.
It doesn't necessarily mean poor.
Yeah.
No, yeah.
But there were these ghettos here for a long time, and then they started to disintegrate, right? And so there was a comment that was made that I really kind of took offense to not too long ago. We were all in a car, and this person has always lived. Okay, so just to describe this neighborhood, it's in Queens. It's the borderline of Queens and Long Island. It's what you think of when you think of the white picket fence family with the 2.5 kids, the dog running around, and the driveway. Like it's really like the suburbs.
Yeah, the fucking Leave It to Beaver family.
Yeah, and then this person had said, and I quote, "This neighborhood is going to shit." And I asked, well, why? Oh, you'll see. So we went, parked the car. And I noticed that the house next door had a person who was not white. And that was their idea of it going to shit.
That was it, eh?
Was that there was a person who was not white.
Oh my God.
And the guy had 2 kids, wonderful children, cute as buttons. And I said, well, what's wrong with them? Why do they seem to be the problem? Well, they're driving the value of these homes down here.
Oh my God. But that all happened back in the 70s. Calm down, people.
That's the dumbest argument.
But this is the thing that's going on. That bothers me a lot, is that we don't want people to be a part of us.
No.
We don't. We don't want people to be a part of our society, unless you speak perfect English, unless you look a little bit like them, unless you walk and talk like they do and eat foods that they like, you're not a part of their society. And it's kind of sickening to hear these comments. Go ahead, Arthur, I'm sorry.
When somebody fucking, if somebody chooses to immigrate to Canada, I don't care if you can't speak English. I don't give a fuck. Of course you can't speak English. If I immigrate to India, I can't fucking speak Indian. There's going to be a learning process. But for people, like, and it has bugged me for a long time too, because you always hear that sentiment. Oh, well, there goes the neighborhood. Why? Why? This is the whole reason why our fucking 2 countries were founded. We cannot be ethnocentric because not even the fucking natives are from here. Do you know what I mean? Like, we are all fucking immigrants. Like, the whole point of the West, in my mind, and it's why I say the West is the fucking best, is because anybody from anywhere in the world can come here, just accept the fact that we are equal. That you're the shit that makes your fucking home country the reason why you fucking left it does not fly here. Just accept that, and I don't give a fuck. I don't care at all anymore. You know what I mean?
You know the street I live on, Arthur, right? At the end of the street, at the main intersection, they put in a Habitat for Humanity. And when that started, 6 or 7 houses immediately went up for sale. Now, a restaurant used to be across the street from there. They closed up, and a mosque bought it. Now, there's a mosque there. Another 6 or 7 houses went up for sale.
Jesus Christ. I mean, now, even for myself, like, I don't want to really live in a neighborhood that close to a church. Like, you know what I mean? Like, that's just me, because I don't want to fucking just be reminded of how much I don't like the way you think. You know, like, and that's really it for me. But I know I've never respected anybody that holds that sentiment. You know what I mean? I can't.
That's what's going on I think in the mentalities of these baby boomers, because I think a lot of this is from the baby boomers, really. That person who I was speaking about was a baby boomer. My parents are baby boomers. And they have these very closed off ideals of what is a culture of how it should be. I'll never forget someone at my job saying, this was a coworker, saying they should just learn to be American. But you don't want them to be American, because when they're Black, we call them African American. When they're Asian, they're Asian Americans. If they're Haitian, it's Haitian American. They can't just be Americans. That's the problem.
See, I stand up to that every single time I hear that shit being used here. I do, and I don't care. I've been called a racist a bunch of times, and I don't give a fuck. I will constantly talk out about this. The first time somebody told me that I have to call a Black Canadian an Afro-Canadian, and that's their classification, go fuck yourself. No, that is not how we fucking do things here. You are a fucking Canadian first, and whatever fucking lowest common denominator you want to identify as later, that comes fucking second. I don't give a shit.
Unless you literally just emigrated from Africa, I'm not calling you Afro anything.
No. Exactly. You're a fucking Canadian, and I will not be subjugated to the exact same shit that Ryan's fucking talking about. That American level of fucking putting everybody in a fucking racialized or sexualized box. I'm not doing it. I'm not fucking doing it. I don't care what your race is. I don't care what your religion is. I don't care what your fucking sexual orientation is. Are you a Canadian? Yeah, cool. Then you're a fucking Canadian. That's it. That's all I care about. Like, seriously, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I cannot stand that whole fucking thought.
That's what leads to all the tribalism too, and that's what leads to, like, you know, keeping people not feeling like they're part of our tribe of Canadians.
Yeah, and the funny thing is, though, so it was explained to me as though that is how it's supposed to work in the U.S. The U.S. it fancies itself as a melting pot. So to be in a melting pot, that means that everybody is equal. Right now, we're Canada, we are supposed to be multicultural, meaning that everybody holds on to their cultures. But it doesn't work like that. At least I won't fucking allow it to work like that here. I don't like that shit. I do not want
I don't have a problem if you go home and you do your religion, or you have your special Sunday dinner that you have that you eat in your homeland. But you need to follow our laws. You need to follow our, you know, our basic customs. You know how
you are a Canadian, or you are this first. But we have it. You know, the problem I think that's going on in the United States, from what I see, is that we have people who want to be Americans who are not allowing because of X, Y, and Z, or because you know,
facing racism every day. Like, how can I become an American when you're like, ooh, you're a gross refugee and you're a Muslim and you're trying to blow us up?
This is what I used to say all the time to my ex. Every single day of that person's life, I used to always say, every moment that you wake up and you go to work and you are viewed the way that you are viewed, it's because you are white. You will never, ever be looked at the way another person who does not share your whiteness does. Because it exists, and I see it all the time. To be called, oh, you know, Ryan, and then be asked, well, is that your real name?
Yeah, that's bullshit.
You know, you don't live in that truth. So you can't tell me, oh, but racism doesn't exist. That is a part of racism. What makes you think that my name really isn't right? Why not?
That's that whole implicit bias bullshit, right?
Yeah.
But I mean, I don't know. Like that brings us to a whole different fucking topic of conversation. It's just, I mean, immigration is the whole reason why North America exists. It's the only reason why we exist. And for us to even allow the thought of people self-segregating themselves it to me is an affront to what it is that we are and what it is we're trying to accomplish and the example that we're trying to lead by so that shithole countries like Saudi Arabia can follow our fucking lead.
Yeah. Yep. Let's talk about a story. I know this is gonna rage Arthur as well. I like when Arthur gets angry. So we had a story come out last week about a father who posted on Twitter a milestone in his son's life, which everybody does, right? Everybody posts something, brag about your kid. Well, this happened to be an Inuit father, and he was proud that his son, 16-year-old son, killed his first beluga during the beluga whale harvest. This is a community thing that everybody does in that area. They depend on this food to eat. Food is very expensive up north. They, the old saying, they use every part of the beluga. They really do. And this is what they live on. They dry the meat. They eat the meat all winter long when there's no other food to eat. Of course, he got a bunch of social justice warriors on there harassing him and, calling him the worst thing in the world, basically.
See, I bet you most of the people that are fucking talking shit to him are also the same fucking people that don't believe in borders and believe that every fucking culture is just as equal as the other. But except for you, because you fucking killed an animal that I think's cute, and I think you and your fucking children should be murdered. Fuck these fucking people. I hope that kid kills more fucking whales. Keep posting them online. Keep rustling them jimmies.
And look, you know me. I love the whales, and I'm not a hunter, but fuck you, Arthur. But I think that people in these communities, this is what they depend on to live. This isn't just somebody killing a whale to hang the head up on his fucking, mantle place. This is somebody who's depending on this to live.
But I thought every culture is valid and every culture deserves to hold on to their cultural roots. They've been murdering whales for thousands of fucking years. Shut the fuck up, hippies. Shut up. Go eat your fucking soybean and listen to shitty fish music. No one fucking cares.
All the waste these freaking stupid hippies probably have. Right? This is a community. I mean, when a jug of orange juice costs like $25.
Yeah,
they got to get their vitamins from somewhere.
You're damn straight. I'm murdering
come out of the ocean.
Everything that I fucking see. If juice is going to cost me that goddamn much, fuck you.
Yeah, it's crazy.
And don't they turn the blubber into ice cream or something?
No, old
probably
school.
Oil.
They use it for lamp oil and stuff. But no, back in the day, there was some fish parts that was used in ice cream.
Yeah.
But that's not true anymore. But yeah, no, that's the whole fucking thing. It's the same reason why I used to get so mad when people talk out against the seal hunt.
Yeah.
Do you live their lives? Do you understand what it is to get fed living that far north? No, shut up. Shut the fuck up.
These hippies have already ruined it so they can't make as much money as they could off the seal pelts because almost no country. I think there's only 2 countries in the world that will buy seal pelts.
If you have now or at any time in your life lived in fucking California or ever thought California was a cool place to live, your opinion on anything like this is fucking invalid. Shut up, you fucking worthless fucking vegan bitch.
Or Oregon. Don't forget Oregon.
Oh, there's Portland. What a fucking cancer Portland is to the world. Fuck's sakes.
Oh my god.
No, fuck that. That whole fucking pedo acceptance bullshit is originating out of Portland. Bomb that fucking city now. Bomb it. Just fucking start it.
Really? That's where the big thing is happening there?
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, that whole fucking pedo acceptance thing is fucking resonating.
I'm surprised that QAnon is not targeting Portland. They're too busy targeting the government and Hillary Clinton and stuff.
But this kind of stuff, it pops up every once in a while. You know.
Every winter or whenever a harvest happens, right?
Now, these, again, let's remember that every culture is valid and we can't talk shit about them. Now that we know that, what's a right of man? Do you know what I mean? This kid would have been sent out, and this is how you become a man. This is so culturally fucking important to him that he not only got to feed his family, but he got to feed his fucking village. He proved to them that he is a fucking man. And you're gonna talk shit. Why? Because it's a cute little beluga. Fuck you. Fuck you.
A beluga would have no fucking care to kill you.
Well.
Bitch.
They're not killers, Ryan.
No.
I don't know.
There's never been a
I look like a beluga whale?
A beluga murder.
They're those little fat white fucking whales. They kind of look like a cross between a manatee and a fucking pig.
Well, no,
what
they
used to even have.
They look like they're smiling.
But Arthur's point is, it's this isn't how do I explain it? You know the whole dog festival that goes on in China? This is so different than that. This is literal difference. This to them is live or die.
Well, it's not like they're raising the belugas in captivity to murder them for some beluga meat festival. I can understand people taking a stand against that. I think we can all agree that that's a little messed up.
Listen, I wear fur, so I can't.
Right, but it's no. This is a cultural right. This is a rite of passage for this young man. You guys should all be like, all these hippies should be very proud that he is practicing this culture. You know, and that's one of the things that bothers me, is because most of the times that these people are talking out are the same fucking people that are in the streets wearing their pink pussy hats saying that all cultures are valid.
Yeah.
Well, you can't have.
Well, and they're fucking, they're trying to protect, you know, tribal villages in Amazon, and the you know, the people should be allowed to have their cultures in Africa and these. But suddenly, for whatever reason, these native tribes that have to kill seals and whales are like horrible
they're
people.
Absolutely horrible.
Killed off the face of the earth.
Well, you can blame fucking Greenpeace for starting that, because it was the easiest fucking victim for them. You know. Yeah. It's like this old saying that I used to say a lot. You know, why does PETA attack old women wearing fur coats and not bikers in leather jackets? Because they're both just as fucking cruel. Because one's gonna put up a real fucking fight.
Well, they don't go after the black rappers, because now the black guys love to wear their fur coats. I don't see them harassing rappers.
There you go. It's because, you know, one of them won't put up a fight. You know, it's way easier to attack old white women than it is fucking a group of bikers. And it's the same with these fucking internet fucking tough people. It's so much easier to fucking attack somebody who, you know, I mean, I don't know how much about this, like how much this is going to be true, but like someone who I would imagine isn't as savvy with where the internet is. Do you know what I mean? Like, with how the second you post something, you are now in the court of public opinion. I can't imagine most people in none of it would understand that. I mean, that's just me being ignorant.
He probably started out with like just a few followers, right? Yeah. Like, I mean, with his community, he probably doesn't have a huge network of international followers.
It's no different than the lady that killed that giraffe in Africa a little while ago.
Oh, yes.
It's no different. It really isn't. But people got fucking really mad about that, and they felt justified about it. I was mad for the same fucking reasons over that I am now. Who the fuck are you to say anything? You know, I don't know. It's just.
I don't like that kind of hunting.
The thing killed 15 fucking baby giraffes. It had to be killed. I mean, he couldn't produce. He couldn't. You know what I mean? He could not mate. Yeah. He was way past the age of mating, but he kept killing young giraffes. So,
Oh, I didn't know that. I hadn't
all the giraffes because this one asshole keeps killing the babies, or we kill the asshole.
And they're endangered. Giraffes are endangered now. People aren't hearing about that. They're endangered. I didn't know that this was some rogue giraffe killing babies.
Yeah, he was just an old male. And that's the thing with all wild animals, right? They will kill any kid that's not it's dead. It's going to fucking kill it because it wants to ensure that its genes are going to go on, right? But people got into a fucking huge uproar about, oh, well, he is such a pretty giraffe. Yeah, but he was a murderer. There's so much more to fucking hunting than just pointing a fucking gun at a goddamn animal. Like,
not every animal that's killed that's a giraffe is, you know, an old male that's trampled little babies.
But I absolutely think that people need to get out of their fucking feels. I really, truly, honestly do. Stop putting fucking empathy into this shit. And, you know, like, I'm not calling you out, Jacqueline, but even your sentiment towards that fuels people to behave the way they did towards that fucking child. The way that Ricky Gervais acts, that anytime someone kills a fucking animal, gives these idiots the fucking the backbone to fucking essentially threaten death on fucking people.
I see your point.
Get out of your fucking feelings and start thinking about the fucking world. Straight up.
Let me wear my milk.
Feelings. Like, it's the only thing I can say about it. You just need to get the fuck out of your feelings and realize that.
But you know who could say that to you, Arthur? The Bangladeshi government.
Yeah, they could. They could. You're absolutely correct. But unfortunately, I do hold human life in a higher regard than I hold animal life.
Well, no, but that's a huge, you know, you're talking about a huge difference too, though. Like,
but not to some people. Because some people value animal life ahead of humans because, you know, animals for the most part.
Well, then you know what? Those people need to be fucking sacrificed to the lions that they pray to. Like,
well, that's it. You know, I've thought that too, Ryan. Like, maybe we should just let a few people be eaten alive publicly, and then they can remember, oh, right, that's why we kill these fucking things, because getting eaten alive is fucking painful. And I'm really happy I don't have to deal with that shit anymore.
Well, because I'll never forget the moment I had confronted a vegan activist. I was at work. I was pulling a double because somebody had called out. I was sick to the bone, and I ordered chicken noodle soup, and I had a sandwich that had ham in it. So I'm sitting there and eating my food, and she's vegan. And she walks in, and everybody was like, "Oh my god, your food smells so good." I was like, "Thank you." And she was like, "Ugh, meat." And I went off on this crazy old witch bitch, and I told her, "Stupid cunt, you need to go fuck yourself, because if you think I'm going to stop eating meat because you don't eat that, is not my fucking issue." You know what I mean? Like, I get it. You know, yes, they're cute, they're adorable, and at the end of the day, I have to survive, and so I'm going to eat this. To do that, you want to eat tree nut cheese on you? You want to eat smegma cheese? Good for you. I'm not going to do that. You know what I mean? But the thing is, it's so different to then compare that. And I'm not saying this about you, Jack. I'm not going against you.
Oh, it's okay. It doesn't matter. Yeah.
But it's so different to then say that about child labor in Bangladesh. You know, children making a shirt that we're going to wear, that we're paying them 25 cents for a day, that we're selling in the United States for 14 to 50. Yeah. That's a huge difference, because these animals.
Well, there's the argument to be had about T-shirts, and you know, they wouldn't have had any money if you didn't put a factory there. Now, I'm against child labor. I'm against these slave laborers, obviously. Yeah. But I mean, there is that argument to be made too. If we didn't put a factory there, there'd be no money for them to have. They'd have nothing.
The thing is that there is no betterment. It's all a facade.
Of course there is. We need to go there and fight so these people get paid a proper wage, obviously.
Yeah, exactly. That's my point. Is that we need to have them be paid a proper wage. Now, am I going to be the motherfucker that walks into fucking Bangladesh and say, "Let's give them proper wages"?
I don't want to get shot at my eyes.
Exactly. Let alone, you know, all the.
Let me protest in silence over here.
Government-sponsored rape.
I'm not going to do that over there.
Like, again, I just get mad at any time there's any of these stories of somebody who's hunted an animal, and then the internet decides that they're going to threaten them. Like, threaten their lives.
No, I don't think these people need to be threatened. I don't think we should be saying your children need to be raped and murdered. That stuff is sick. You know.
But I mean, it's a sentiment that we've all seen, though.
Oh no, it's disgusting, and I don't stand with those people. I don't stand with anybody who says someone should be killed because they hunted an animal.
And like, that's my whole problem, is that when people start to feign this outrage, we are now allowing the idiots, the more hate-filled people, the people that are just driven solely by emotion and don't have a fucking critical thought in their brain to run wild. And I'm sorry, like, I will murder every motherfucking beluga whale on Earth before I have some fucking tree fucking hippie tell me what I can and can't do. Like,
well, and this is the problem. A lot of these you know, these hippies, these crazy, and you know, I love the animals, and you know, I have my causes, but you know, like, a lot of them are batshit crazy. Greenpeace, you have fucking PETA, you have these people that will go and take experimental animals out of laboratories, and now you've got a possible disease, or you know. Like, this stuff happens. This stuff happens. Like, that stuff's crazy. Do I think that we should be experimenting on animals? I wish we didn't have to, but you know what? You have to, because how else are we going to get these cures? You want to have a cure for cancer?
Yeah.
You want to have a cure for, you know, HIV? We have to experiment on animals, sadly. That's the way it is.
It's the truth. That is the way of nature.
Yeah. Do you think that a lion cares that it kills the youngs of another?
That's the first thing it does. When it takes over pride, it kills the young of the other.
They don't care. They don't give a fuck about. No, I'm not saying let's not care about the animals. I do care about endangered species, and I care about how many bees there are. I want to hold us to a certain degree of responsibility and accountability that we should. Him killing a beluga. There's a lot of belugas. I know people who are
they're actually endangered.
Yeah, well, okay, but there's a lot of them walking around.
But they're not killing, like, you know, 1 million a year.
No,
they kill like maybe 20 if they're lucky.
Beluga from Texas now? She's a beluga whale too? You know what I'm saying? I have an aunt who looks like a beluga whale. Like, there's plenty of them, okay? But my whole
me at the beach.
We have to a certain point just kind of realize what is nature, because that's how nature works. Nature is violent.
It's the truest thing. You know, I was talking to these people a little while ago, and we were talking about the treatment of animals, like in the aquariums or the zoos and stuff like that. And I always try to point people towards the silver lining. And it's like I said to them, it's kind of just like I said on the show. These animals are living in the lap of luxury. You know why? Because they don't have to worry about the fate of every other living animal on Earth. They will not be eaten alive, which is the most torturous fucking thing that imaginable. Like, think about it.
Yeah.
Think about a fucking hyena fucking eating you through your asshole while
It's
you're alive.
not like some of them were treated wonderfully, but I've been to Marineland, and those animals are not treated kindly.
I get what you're saying. I do. I truly do. But again, I mean, I think I would much rather live my fucking life not having to worry about some shark fucking thinking, you look tasty.
Yeah, I don't know. You know. Like, I mean, like, you think of, like, the whale that we have here in, I can't remember her name, the whale at Marineland, the last killer whale. Mm-hmm. And she's in there. She's by herself. She's not even with other whales or dolphins. She's in, basically I think it's been about 10 years since the last whale was around. And she's going to live probably, if they keep her healthy, another 10 or 20 years. And she's in, isolation, and this is a social animal. That's kind of cruel, no?
There's no reason to have a fucking whale in captivity.
Absolutely.
Right? What's the point? Like, we will never
I'm
be
okay
able
with a lot of aquariums with their fishes and their manta rays.
Well,
and
that's
like
it, right? And that's what we were talking about. We were talking about the Ripley's Aquarium when I got in this conversation. Now, a whale, that encompasses a giant territory. We would never be able to have a tank that would encompass that territory. The fish and sharks and stuff you see at these aquariums are not
I checked out Ripley's when I went there. I was looking for, like, any kind of dirt. And, I mean, those tanks are beautiful. The only thing I didn't like was touching No, I was inspecting shit. I was smelling. But the only thing I didn't really like was where you could touch the little stingrays, because I felt like they were in a dirty water.
I thought they were horseshoe crabs.
There were some of those too, but there was little baby stingrays that you could pet, and they looked miserable, and the water was dirty.
Well, of course.
Can I just comment on this a little bit and kind of broaden this? I know we're way over time.
Yeah,
we are. I'm going to talk about this very, very shortly. If we could give animals, like, if we seem to make a decision on when an animal gets to die, why don't we sometimes do that for human beings?
Trying.
Honest to God.
Sometimes I have a story on that. We'll talk about on Wednesday.
We're trying. Euthanasia all the fucking way.
Well, you guys are very aware of something that happened recently in my family, and it's entered my head very much. And this is coming from a Catholic boy who prays to Jesus and tried to do the rosary, although he didn't know. I said Hail Marys. I think I said Tim Tebow in that rosary as well.
I have a dirty joke for that, but I'll not say it.
But my point is, it's tough, and I get it that there's a lot of religious stuff that goes on. If we care about animals and they're in pain and all this stuff, think about human beings.
Yeah.
That being said, that's my line.
Yeah. Well, that's it. We went over 12 minutes over. Thanks for listening. We'll be back Wednesday because I'm not working Wednesdays anymore. I'm back to my Wednesdays off.
Yay!
Have a good week, and we'll see you Wednesday. Bye.
Take care.